Your questions, our answers. Welcome to another episode of Hogwash. JAGER PRO received a 15-second plug on national television Sunday night. The HBO show Last Week Tonight with John Oliver discussed an entire episode about feral hogs. Of course, my inbox was flooded Sunday night and Monday morning with emails. Immediately I thought, how accurate could a bunch of New York City writers be about the topic of feral pig control? So I watched the entire 30-minute episode to find out for myself.
Specifically, we're going to be talking about feral pigs, boars or hogs. They're the things being chased in this recent viral clip from Poland.
Well, here's something you don't see every day, a humanoid robot chasing a herd of wild boars. Yeah, the now viral video from Poland shows the robot named Edward. As it chased the boars out of a Warsaw neighborhood, Edward can be heard shouting, "Go away," in Polish as the animals fled into the forest before then waving goodbye.
Yeah, that is real. Apparently, Poland has a humanoid robot named Edward who took it upon himself to chase off some feral pigs and then politely wave them goodbye, which is honestly a pretty canny PR campaign for anthropomorphic robots. All I'm saying is, that is a nice way to get us all used to him before he's inevitably one day used as a weapon of war.
That's funny. Now I'm sure Poland does not believe Edward is a viable solution to the urban pig problem. Non-lethal methods, such as using distress sounds, propane cannons, or robots named Edward, are considered aversive devices and are at best a short-term solution. Pigs quickly become desensitized to the method if nothing happens to them. Even fencing is a temporary band-aid because pigs will continue to reproduce on the other side of the fence.
Feral hogs are also spreading at an alarming rate, and not just in rural America. Just listen to this man who lives in a suburb of Dallas.
Ted Faulkner has lived in South Mesquite for 17 years.
They look like cows.
And the entire time, he's dealt with feral hogs. As of late, he says they've been coming around more frequently.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
There are 6 to 8 to 10 hogs, and some are as large as cows.
Yeah, that's not a one-off either. There's a bunch of Ring camera footage of feral hogs roaming various US suburbs.
The state of Texas is a perfect example of what not to do. Texans have monetized the feral pig problem to the point that they're guaranteed to never solve the problem. Urban hog control in any city is much easier to perform than in rural settings. Pigs are already used to people, their smells, dogs barking on the other side of the fence. JAGER PRO has a 100% success rate on every city phone call during the past 7 years in Columbus, Georgia.
Then there is African swine fever, which thankfully hasn't shown up in America yet, but given our growing feral hog population, it could only be a matter of time. One expert warned, if an animal disease like African swine fever or hoof and mouth gets into these animals, it will be almost impossible to stop. It will shut down our livestock industry. And if you're thinking, well, sure, that does sound frightening, but it's not like infected pigs can just buy a plane ticket and fly here. Well, kinda.
Well, some pork problems at Hartsfield-Jackson. Airport officials discover a cooked pig in checked luggage. Officials say Canine Hardy, a member of the airport's Beagle Brigade, alerted them to the baggage of a traveler from Ecuador. And inside, specialists discovered this, a nearly 2-pound roasted pig head.
I'm really concerned about African swine fever. It's negatively affected dozens of countries throughout Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Caribbean. Luckily, the disease has never been reported in the United States, Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, or Japan. But all it takes is one ignorant human flying into a North American airport, which will cost the United States billions of dollars in future pork exports and force millions of domestic pigs to be euthanized.
Clearly, hunting isn't going to be the sole answer here, but unfortunately, every other option also has its pros and cons. For instance, there is trapping, which allows you to capture entire groups of hogs at the same time. That sounds good. The challenge there, though, is that pigs, as I've mentioned, are very smart and they tend to learn fast.
Hey, little piss off. How you doing, buddy? Let's see. Look at it. Oh. Mother.
Wow. There are very few instances of someone being as completely owned by a pig as that.
Another friggin' amateur educating more pigs than they capture. What did you think would happen when you turn on a bunch of vehicle headlights in the middle of the night and try to be a YouTube star by screwing around with an adult boar? I swear, feral pigs are more intelligent than most people who are trying to trap them.
The crucial thing about trapping pigs is you need to catch the entire group or sounder all at once, because if you don't get the whole sounder, the trap in that location is no longer really viable, because they'll basically communicate that's not some place to go. That is why some have pushed for a more extreme alternative, poison. Researchers have spent years testing poison options, but unfortunately, the ideal hog bait, one that can kill them humanely without risking hurting people or other animals, hasn't been discovered yet, and not for lack of trying.
So the two toxicants we're talking about, the ones that are currently being tested, are warfarin and sodium nitrite. To me, there's 4 factors that we have to consider. Will the toxicants be less expensive, more effective, more efficient, and more productive than current whole sounder trapping methods? The initial answers are no to all 4 categories. First, you can't just spread toxicant on the ground. Pigs have to learn how to use a species-specific bait delivery device, which only pigs and bears can open. Let's just call this device a toxicant feeder. So first, it requires you to condition the pigs to a non-toxic feed. And then once the pigs are readily consuming the non-toxic feed, then you got to switch to placebo bait, which tastes the same but doesn't have any toxicant. Then when the pigs finally are consuming the placebo bait, then you switch to the actual toxicant. This entire process takes several weeks, in addition to purchasing a toxicant feeder, expensive placebo, and toxicant bait.
There are real questions regarding cruelty when it comes to warfarin, as it can cause a slow, days-long death due to internal bleeding. That is why when Australia considered using it, it eventually concluded that the method of death was so cruel that use of warfarin should be outlawed.
Or you could just trap the whole entire sounder, like this urban capture, which only took 82 hours from beginning to end.
As it stands, no single method is going to be able to control our feral hog population by itself. Instead, it's going to take a bunch of tools, and the key thing is to use them wisely, because almost all of them could backfire. So that's going to mean hunting without incentivizing the spread of pigs, trapping in a way that doesn't teach hogs to avoid traps, and devising a toxic bait that isn't unnecessarily cruel and doesn't do even more damage to the environment.
Well said. Thank you for using your HBO television show and social media reach to educate millions of people about a very serious topic that we deal with every day. I truly appreciate you and your writers identifying Jager Pro as a subject matter expert by giving us 15 seconds of recognition on your platform. And also, thanks for making this old engineer brain soldier laugh while still being accurate with the content. I have a whole new respect for your craft and what it takes to deliver 30 shows like this every single year. I appreciate it.